Now you think black and white
And
picture?
he's got one about every day, all week.
That's all people send me black and white t-shirts.
Yeah.
Golly.
It's perfect.
Great.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Colors.
Man, you ought to wait till you see that thing outside in the
Yeah.
sun. Like it is a completely different color.
Yeah, it pops real good. You get that gold metal flavor really just comes out of it.
Gold digger.
Daddy said he got no Hondo, it comes straight out of the back.
Really? Yeah, I mean, it ain't been the sweetest. Nobody's putting in nothing. No. I think y'all about done yourselves this time.
See that leather chicken on there?
Really?
I hope
I can't remember
say
saying
that.
It's not No shit. That's awesome.
Little whiskey here. It's a little like that one. It's a little.
Not deal.
Deal. Yeah, that's one of the little things.
Hell yeah.
Perfect choice on the gauges, by the way.
Oh, man.
It's the best looking set of gauges.
Without a doubt.
Buggies.
It's something classy.
They're perfect.
Hell, that's crazy. Damn.
Badass.
I'll be a little biased.
Like I said this morning, it's okay to cry. I said, like I said this morning, it's okay to cry.
Please cry.
I ain't got that in me.
Please cry.
I think I have no crap.
You wouldn't be the most, you wouldn't be the first girl man to do that.
And he's about to like that walking in here anyway.
I probably will on the way home.
That's the first thing, sure.
You gotta get away from all the
Sometimes
little
girl man start crying out. I mean, ain't no shame in it.
When it sinks in, you know. Damn, you get them all already?
I mean, you got this right. Sorry.
I told somebody, I said, I guarantee you, pick you up around the corner.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Damn.
Everybody in here got a little something to touch on that thing, so.
Yeah. Y'all are pretty awesome.
Alright, guys. Here with this new buggy and the new owner, Brad. Brad and I have been buddies for years. I don't know exactly when we
I don't
first
know.
met.
7 or 8 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah, 09 or something. And Brad's kind of always been that guy. He's like, one of these days I'm gonna get you to build a buggy. And like, we're ready, whatever you are. And, well, he finally got ready. What was going to be a chassis, and him take it home and finish it out, pretty much turned into a turnkey rig. But Brad's a perfect guy that like I always love whenever a guy that's been into wheeling, and then you've been into it for so long, you've had a pretty hardcore rig, you got a 4Runner that you built yourself that was on, is actually a really cool 4Runner magazine. I think it was in Crawl, wasn't it?
Yeah. Crawl and one of the Toyota magazines, I don't recall which.
Yeah, I don't know about those either. But I mean, as a 4Runner, you built it, had Spider 9s underneath it. You were just ready to move to a buggy, but like, so you're perfect. You know what it takes to haul and maintenance and do everything in a buggy. Like, you're not surprised about what you're getting into. So I love whenever guys like you step over into a buggy, and then, especially one of this magnitude, pretty much while we're doing the videos, because like, I'm a why guy. Like, if there's something that's been done, I want to know why. So kind of go through the parts list and stuff and talk about what all is here, and then we're probably going to pretty much talk about why. And Brad and I worked a lot on this, and we were just talking about how much we did work into. It was pretty fun to work with each other, because like, he let us do what we do, and then colors and a lot of the other parts of it he came up with. I mean, like, he had color chips for this thing day one when we got started. He pretty much knew what powder coats he was doing, so that was actually pretty cool. But start off, it's got a Mass Motorsports 416 in it. The why behind it is they're an expensive motor, but they're a good, pretty much a bang for the buck, I guess you would call it, because You get a full forged rotating assembly, everything else, but it's a dyno tune motor that comes ready to run. Opposed to if you buy an LS crate engine, then you have to work out electronics and everything else. These engines are Speed Dempsey instead of being ran off of mass airflow, which the mass airflow just makes you have to end up running airflow meter. Then you got to run an air filter and a whole other, it's a big old long thing. With this being a 4-seater, we turn the intake around backwards, so it's all underneath the dash. He's just got an air filter right up underneath the dash. It's pretty easy, and these engines run really well on the mass computer with that. So dollar for dollar, it's like he was talking about. I mean, you were just telling me that you were pretty happy that you went that direction. I'm always happy with that direction. I mean,
Absolutely.
we put a bunch of them in stuff that we do turnkey. So been working with those guys for a long time. So that's kind of the why. Turbo 400 from PTC. That's just kind of, it's rock solid. It's got an Atlas transfer case. It's rock solid. What the why behind Atlas? A lot of times, people are like, there's this straight drive case out, but it doesn't have a good low range. Which now they do have one with a low range, but Advanced Adapters have been around making transfer cases probably for as long as I can really remember, and I feel like they're going to be around making transfer cases for as long as I can remember. So that alone, if you do have a problem, you've got a good answer to it. They've always got the parts there for it. There's been so many transfer case companies that come into the market. You buy their case 2 years later, that company's gone. You pretty much got a paperweight at that point. So
Right.
That's one reason we like using Advanced Adapters on that stuff. PRP seats. We've been using PRP stuff for a long time. I love the fact you can get a good custom seat and it doesn't cost you any extra money. So we went with something that's just pretty much theme colored. Nothing crazy, but it just fits the build. And they're comfortable and they're safe and everything else. Shoulder straps. We did 2-inch harnesses in this one because it's just a trail rig. That's, if you've got 3-inch, 2-inch, whatever else, wife, 2 kids, everybody's going to want a 2-inch belt in that scenario. And then me with a 3-inch, it's going to rub your neck. If you're racing, that's what you got to have. If you're not racing, a 2-inch is just fine. We always use a 5th point on the substrap though. Pretty much goes down. Winter shifter, we put one in all of our buggies. It's a gated shifter that anybody can drive. Amber can jump in this thing, throw it in gear, she can look and see where she's at. It's not a bunch of to ratchet in or anything else. So kind of goes with that. What else? Come around. Radflow shocks. He probably didn't even, he was cool with it when I said, hey, we want to do Radflow. We've been doing Radflow on the majority of our builds for a long time. It boils down to I love their service. I love dealing with Glenn over there. Whenever I call over there and talk to somebody, I get somebody that will deal with us on the phone. Our lead times are great. We keep the selection here when we're selling stuff over the phone, so that means that we're keeping shock shafts, shock shims, parts, eyelets, everything that it takes to service them, so it's pretty much an easy combination for him to do that then. Axles.
14 bolts,
Why?
horsepower.
That's why. Horsepower, that's why.
Horsepower at 42s.
Yeah, so 14 bolt. The rear is 30 spline, straight axle, 14 bolt. We retubed it, 3.5 half wall in it. Stock spindles and wheel hubs that we went in and refurbished, all new bearings, everything else. But the front end, so I guess that is a why, because it's got a big knuckle front end in it. When we first quoted it, it was 14 bolt with Dana 60 size U-joints and stuff. But like, why did you go to the Magnum stuff?
Horsepower and long-term ownership.
There it is. So,
I don't want to have to touch it again.
yeah. I mean, and that's the deal. Like, literally was the dollar figure that much different between doing that turnkey axle to that?
Not worth the trouble later on down the road.
So,
Peace of mind.
It's a couple of $1,000 difference. I mean, literally, if you take a trip to Moab and you go out there and you have axle troubles,
Yeah.
it really ruined your trip. And when you're doing it on a new part of the build, and I think that was even the phone call I actually called and told you, like, man, I'm not trying to upsell you, but since you went with Mass Motorsports motor that's got horsepower over a crate, 6 liter, that might be something I'd look at doing, and whenever you crunch numbers with it, you come back to me pretty quick, just so
Oh,
you
yeah.
get it done.
Yeah. The 4Runner was built that way, so.
I mean, and it
I'm not gonna
was, I
skimp
mean,
on the buggy.
it was a supercharged V6, but it had, I mean, Spider Tracks axles with Spider Tracks, I mean, chromoly stuff and everything else in it. I don't know that you ever broke an axle shaft in it.
I never
you?
did.
Perfect, so.
Maybe a different story for the Norses.
They're pretty rough on stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of the why. Like, I'll ask you why Traps, because I really,
How do
I had nothing to do with that. Not that
Right.
I don't like them. I love them. I love the way they look on there, but like, why is
I
that?
had them on the 4Runner for 9 years, I believe.
Yep.
Never had a problem. Figured I'd give them a shot in the 42 flavor and see how they work.
I love them. I mean, it's a big tire. It, whenever you park that thing next to a 43 SX, it's got the size, and I like the narrow width on it. Pretty good, and just the overall look is pretty awesome. There's a lot of stuff that I kind of even take for granted. PSC double-ended ram. We've been just using them because it works forever and everything else. So, other than that, man, we put it all together in this four-seater Revolution 2.0 chassis. It's set up with awesome trail riding suspension, 2.0 shocks with remote reservoirs on it, sprung right, valve right. 7 inches up travel all the way around, 14-inch shocks all the way around. I didn't really think that you need anything crazy shock length wise or anything else to go trail ride with. So, but then the color comes in. So like, how'd you pick the color and why? Because you pretty much killed it on the color choice.
I always had it in my mind and never could find it.
Yeah.
Just like a retro 70s gold almost.
Because we're retro guys now. We're getting older. We got
That's it.
kids.
That's it. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Somebody getting a razor ready for hammers had painted their chassis. I just saw the color, and I had to ask him what the color was.
Yeah.
And I told him what it was going on, and he had no problem copying it.
No problem with you telling you what it was.
Right.
but-
Now the panels, I found that on my own.
Yeah. I mean, and I told you, like I remember talking back and forth with you. I was like, the chassis is going to be one color. Do you want me to put it clear on the panels? And you were like, no, I like them like they are, the satin color. And I was kind of worried about what they turn out like. Because most anything we try to do when we powder it, we always try to put a clear to it because the clear actually helps long term hold up. But the flat color on this, I feel like it's going to be like the flat interior panels we do. We do a lot of flat black interior panels, and they always hold up well. So I feel like this is going to hold up just fine.
It's not really flat.
It's almost like
Semi-satin.
it's powder coat goes by sheen, so I would say it's probably a 20 sheen or something. That's what we've used a lot of in the past. But overall, man, so it's awesome for us to build a buggy for a guy that we've known and wheeled with forever, and we always like to say just thanks for letting us build it, because it is our job, it is what we do, we love what we do, and it shows. All the guys in the back, Travis and Jason and everybody involved with this thing has really poured their heart and soul into it for you.
It shows.
And it's,
I can't thank them enough.
yeah, it's pretty awesome whenever those guys are getting to stand back, and then I can't wait to get it out of here and pretty much just let's
Beat
go
the hell
wheel
out of
it.
it.
Let's go wheel it. Yeah. So Brad, man, I appreciate it, dude.
Hey.
Thanks for the
Hey,
project.
man, thanks for putting it all together.
It's awesome.
Putting the dream together.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.